You're staring at your phone right now. Or you were, yesterday, last night, this morning, waiting for a message that isn't coming. And the worst part? You don't even know what you did wrong. She was responding, she was engaged, she was there, and then nothing. The replies got shorter, the response time got longer, and then one day she just stopped. So you did what every man does. You waited. Then you sent a follow-up. Something casual, something low pressure, something that said, "I'm not desperate," while every cell in your body was screaming the opposite. And she left you on read. Here's what I'm going to tell you that nobody else will. She didn't ghost you because she got busy. She didn't ghost you because she met someone else. She didn't ghost you because of anything that happened on the outside. She ghosted you because of something that happened on the inside. Inside her mind, at a psychological level so deep and so automatic that she couldn't explain it even if she wanted to. And the moment you understand what that thing is, really understand it, you will never be left on red again. But I have to warn you, what you're about to hear is not comfortable. It is not flattering, and it is going to force you to look at yourself in a way most men never do. If you're ready for that, stay with me. Let's start with something that will make you uncomfortable. Attraction is not a decision. She did not sit down one day and logically conclude that she was no longer interested in you. There was no meeting in her mind where the verdict was delivered. It happened below that, beneath logic, beneath reason, in a part of the brain that is older than language, older than civilization, older than any rule society has ever written about how men and women are supposed to behave. Psychologists call it the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotion, instinct, and survival. It operates on signals, not words, not intentions, signals, and at some point, and this is the part that is going to sting, you sent it the wrong signal. Not once, repeatedly, in ways you thought were perfectly normal, in ways you were actually proud of. You were consistent, you were available, you were interested. You made it clear that you liked her, and every single one of those things, in the doses you were giving them, was registering in her limbic system as a 5-alarm warning, not "this man cares about me," but "this man needs me." And need, desperate, uncontrolled, unearned need, is one of the most repulsive signals the human brain can receive from a potential partner. Here is the dark truth that Freud understood, that Jung wrote about in coded language, that every seducer in history has known intuitively. Desire cannot survive certainty. The moment she knew, really knew, that you were completely hers, the desire began to die. And the texting was just where it finally showed up on the surface. What happened between you was not random. It followed a pattern, a precise psychological sequence that plays out the same way every single time, with every man who makes the same mistakes. There are 3 phases, and I want you to identify exactly which phase you're in right now. Phase 1, the slow fade. This is where her responses started getting shorter, where she stopped asking you questions back, where conversations that used to run for hours started dying after 3 or 4 exchanges. You probably noticed it. You probably told yourself it was nothing. She was busy, she was tired, she had a lot going on. But here is what was actually happening. Her limbic system had already made its assessment, and it was quietly, efficiently, without drama or announcement, withdrawing its investment in you. The slow fade is not cruelty. It is biology. It is the mind conserving emotional energy by pulling back from something it has unconsciously classified as low value. And the harder you pushed during this phase, the more you texted, the more you tried to re-engage, the faster the fade accelerated. Phase 2, the test. This one is going to make you angry because she didn't even know she was doing it. At some point during the fade, she went quiet deliberately, not because she had nothing to say, but because some ancient part of her brain was running a test. The test has one question. what does he do when I pull back? A man with genuine value? A man with options, with a life, with psychological weight, does very little. He notices. He might send one message. And then he returns to his life, because his life does not revolve around her response. A man without that value, a man whose emotional state is entirely dependent on her engagement, panics. He double texts. He sends the, "Hey, just checking in" message. He finds an excuse to reach out. He performs casualness so badly it reads as desperation from a mile away. And the moment he does any of those things, the test is over, and he failed. Not because the rules are unfair, but because what he revealed in that moment, the panic, the need, the inability to sit with uncertainty, told her everything she needed to know about who he really is under pressure. Phase 3, the silence. This is where you are now, or where you're heading. The silence is not a punishment. I want you to understand that clearly. She is not sitting somewhere enjoying your confusion. She has probably already stopped thinking about it entirely. And that, the fact that you are thinking about this constantly while she has moved on, is the clearest possible evidence of the imbalance that killed this in the first place. You gave her too much power over your emotional state, and the moment a woman realizes she has that much power over a man she is supposed to be attracted to, the attraction collapses completely. Because you cannot respect someone you can break that easily. Let me tell you what she was actually looking for. Not what she said she wanted, not what she posted about wanting. What her psychology, her deep, primal, non-negotiable psychology, was actually scanning for. She was looking for a man she could not fully predict. Not unpredictable in the sense of unstable or unreliable, but unpredictable in the sense of genuinely autonomous. A man whose next move was not determined by her last move. A man who had his own orbit, and occasionally, magnificently, let her enter it. She was looking for a man whose attention felt like something earned. When attention is infinite and unconditional, when it costs nothing to receive, it registers as worthless. This is not her being cruel. This is basic economics applied to human psychology. Scarcity creates value. Abundance destroys it. Every text you sent without waiting for a reply was another unit of your attention given away for free. And free things, no matter how genuinely valuable, are never truly appreciated. She was looking for a man who made her feel something she couldn't control. And here is the darkest truth in this entire video. Comfort kills desire. Safety kills desire. Certainty kills desire. What creates desire is the opposite. Edge, tension. The slight but ever-present possibility that this could slip away. That he might turn his attention elsewhere. That she is not automatically guaranteed his devotion simply by existing. Robert Greene wrote, in The Art of Seduction, the moment the target feels sure of your affections, they move on to the next thrill. That is not a cynical observation. That is a description of how the human nervous system is wired, and it has been true for as long as humans have existed. You did not fail because you were too good to her. You failed because you handed her certainty, and certainty, in the world of attraction, is poison. Now, here is what actually changes this. And I need you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been taught. Stop texting her. Not as a game, not as a tactic, not because some YouTube channel told you that playing hard to get works, but because you need to go rebuild the thing that made you send all those texts in the first place. The gaping hole in your own psychological foundation that made her attention feel like oxygen. Here is the uncomfortable question you need to sit with. Why does her response matter this much to you? Not rhetorically. Actually answer it. Because a man who has real options, who has a life he is genuinely invested in, work that excites him, friends who challenge him, goals that consume him, that man does not stare at his phone waiting for one woman's reply. He notices she hasn't responded. He registers it briefly, and then he returns to his life. Not because he doesn't care, but because his life is full enough that one person's silence cannot hollow it out. That fullness, that genuine, non-performed psychological abundance is the single most attractive quality a man can possess. And it cannot be faked. Not for long. She will feel the difference between a man who is genuinely full and a man who is performing fullness while internally panicking. The dark psychologists call this scarcity versus abundance mindset, but it goes deeper than mindset. It is a fundamental question of identity. Are you a man whose value is self-generated, who you are regardless of whether she responds? Or are you a man whose value is other-dependent, who needs her engagement to feel okay? The first man is magnetic, the second man is invisible, and the brutal truth is that no amount of texting strategy, no amount of waiting the right number of hours before replying, no amount of playing it cool will change which one you are at your core. The only thing that changes it is the actual, unglamorous, difficult work of building a life so complete that one woman's silence is an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. Machiavelli understood this. Every powerful man in history understood this. The prince who desperately needs the approval of his court has already lost his throne. The prince who can walk away from any room and still be the prince, that man is untouchable. Let me tell you what is going to happen now. One of two things. You are going to watch this video, feel the truth of it in your bones, and then go text her anyway, because the need is stronger than the knowledge right now. And that is okay. But understand that every text you send from that place of need is digging the hole deeper. Every message sent from scarcity confirms her assessment, and at some point, there is no coming back from it. Or you are going to put the phone down. Not because you don't care, but because you finally understand that caring this much about this one person to this degree at the expense of your own dignity and peace is not love. It is dependency. And dependency is not attractive to anyone. You are going to redirect that energy into yourself, into your work, into the version of you that doesn't need a woman's text to feel like enough. And here is the darkest irony of all of this. The moment you genuinely stop needing her response, not performing, not needing it, but actually not needing it, is the moment there is a real chance she comes back. Not because absence makes the heart grow fonder, though it does, but because the man who can walk away with his dignity intact, who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't collapse, is suddenly, inexplicably, the most interesting man in the room. She felt it when you were giving everything. She'll feel this too. The question is whether you'll have already moved on by then. That's the dark truth nobody tells you. Now you know it. If this hit somewhere you weren't expecting, good. That means it was true. The next video goes deeper into the psychology of power and attraction, into the specific behaviors that separate the men who are chosen from the men who are left waiting. You already know where to find it.